Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, a warm good morning to all. Today, we have one of the best historians in Kerala, Mr. Dr. Lukman. And we are going to ask him some questions and he's going to give answers. Let's move on. Since 2001, September 11th, Islamophobia and propaganda made worldwide, especially America. The holy size of Islam is displayed as terrific size today. Those who doesn't even know about Islam, the tiniest bit of Islam, they are now saying that Islam is a false religion. They strongly believe that Islam, its glorious growth, is again made by sword. And as a historian, what's your stand upon this matter?
Well, even before the incidents of the Trade Center, Orientalists had shown many flaws in recording Islamic history, especially the history of the East. It's widely known between academies that they are comparing the different cultures of the East and the West, and that they highlight on the West culture by degrading the East. More specifically speaking, if we underscore the changes Islam made in the places where it reached peacefully, it's crystal clear to understand that it wasn't spread by sword. And we can depend on a word. Sir Thomas Arnold, a historian and a Christian priest, he notifies and underlines in his book, The Preaching of Islam, and he briefs the spreadation of Islam as it's not in the cruelty of the persecutors or the fury of the fanatic that we should look for the evidences for the preaching of Islam, not any more than in the Muslim warriors who fought while holding a Quran in other hand, while holding sword in another, but in the calm or nephrosy ways of the labors of the preachers and the traders who have carried their faith into every quarter of the globe. Such peaceful methods of persuasion and preaching were actually used, but today it have been corrected wrongly to a wrong perception.
So you mean that Islam, its glorious growth is not made by sword. It's not again made by sword, right?
Yes, it is not again by sword, we can conclude it truly, and when the sword is used for khutbahs in Jumu'ah, the anti-Islamists, they say that they recommend a war against the non-Islamists, but it's actually a sign of peace as it is used for defense and to crucify the criminals.
Yeah, you mean defense, right? We
Yes.
swords only for defense. Then a question: is in the revolutionary conflict by Ibn Qasim, everybody says that it's the trajectory of Islam in India. Would you please elaborate that thing?
Well, Indo-Arab relations are generally attributed to the invasion of Muhammad bin al-Qasim, which was in 712 AD at the southwest region of India, the Sapta Sindhu regions, and he conquered a bit part of the Indian territory, in peninsular India. But when we take about another examples for the proofs of Islam's in India, let's take South India. Let's take an example for Chairman Juma Masjid. Let's take it. We have Chairman Juma Masjid, which was built in 629 AD by the companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
and it stands a tall proof for how much a pivotal role have been played by maritime and commercial trades in South India. If a mosque came there, such a big mosque, it was the first mosque. We can see when we look at the style of it, it is in the style of a Hindu temple. That is the style of it. So we can see that it's the first temple, so first mosque. If a mosque came there should be a necessariness for a mosque, which means a society has developed there. If a society developed there, we can assume that Islam propagated into South India through trade routes, through the Sri routes in the 6th century.
So, we can put a conclusion in this topic. And for the next question, I'm saying that in the academic discussions, we can see that if a discussion is kept, even rarely we can hear a term which is known as Monsoon Islam. And typically asking, what is meant by the term Monsoon Islam? Can you please, expand it?
Well, first when we look at the word structure, Monsoon Islam, The word monsoon is very familiar to us, the monsoon rains and monsoon winds. Yes, it is connected with that. The word monsoon means the Arabians depended on the monsoon winds to reach into South India. The Monsoon Islam concept is mainly based on the South India. So the Arabs depended on the monsoon wind to reach South India, which means the Arab carried their faith along with the goods for trade and such commercial purposes. Many teams for traders came here in South India. I'm focusing on South India because Monsoon Islam is a topic mainly based on South India. They came here for to turning a profit, but as a new religion came there, it also propagated up there, and another team of persuaders and preachers also came there. This ancient way of propagation of such a calm propagation of Islam is generally termed as Monsoon Islam.
Okay, okay. Then we can say that even before Islam coming to the South India or India, we can see that many other religions existed here, such like Jews, Christianity, etc., etc. Then my question is, how did Islam gain such a prominence in the society and etc.?
Well, we can assume that in the 6th century Islam came here. Well, even before that, in the 3rd, 4th, 5th centuries, many religions tried to propagate in the South India. They focused South India for commercial purposes, especially for black gold, pepper, and so on. And they came here and they tried to propagate. Let's take an example for the Portuguese. They came here and they tried to propagate their religion and their faith, Christianity. But the society declined such a religion as there came bloodshed. The Portuguese tried for a bloodshed, so the society declined it. But mainly two things influence the prevalence or the prominence of a religion. First one is the present situation of the society which it is introduced to, and the next one is the perspectives and concepts shared by the religion. If we take the first point, Islam came into a society where held a big discriminations which existed, one of the worst traditions to ever exist, discriminations. Many discriminations existed based on birth, color, race, work, and many. If a religion like of unity, brotherhood, peace, and calmness and love, such a religion, Islam, is introduced to such a big society of madness and discriminations, the society approved it. And one of the systems prevailed in the time was the caste system. Many caste systems prevailed, as with the higher caste and lower caste, and the lower caste were treated worse than the animals. So when the lower caste saw a religion of such peace, they became more converts from the lower caste to Islam. So this way of propagation were actually held in South India.
So thank you, sir. Now we have arrived to a conclusion that we can simply say that Islam is not a religion of, like you said, it's not a gain made by sword, or it's not a for religion, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah. So guys, we have to say that Islam is not a false religion. It's a religion of peace. So we have to follow Islam. And if we look at the greatest example today existed is Palestinians. May Allah give them life. And from that we can understand that the misunderstanding of others is really a way for Islamians, Muslims, for the increasement of their faith. So that's all for today, and we're winding up, right? And وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم.
തുടരുന്നു ലെറ്റർ ബി ഓൺ സ്റ്റേജ്. വിഷയം 2K24 election results. ആവശ്യകരമായ കോമ്പോസിഷൻ അറബിക് ഫോർ കാറ്റഗറി എ സോൺ മത്സരഫലം അറിവായിരിക്കുന്നു. കാറ്റഗറി കാറ്റഗറി ബി സോൺ മാപ്പിളപ്പാട്ട്. അതർ ഗ്രേഡ് ലിറ്റർ എഫ് സയ്യിദ് അഫ്ലഹ് ബാ അലവി സാദത്ത് അക്കാദമി ബി ഗ്രേഡ് 3 പോയിന്റ്.